Yeah, moves.
That's good.
Why are we tabling for scripted stuff?
Mr. Harris?
Plus, there wasn't staff recommendation.
Yeah.
Mr.
Mayor, if you hold the meeting up, you have to put your finger right here. All right. We'll call to order the June Planning Commission meeting. I'd like to welcome everybody. We're going to start off the same way we always do with our normal housekeeping item here. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes to your pleasure? Does anybody have any questions, deletions, additions? Do you have a motion?
Move to be approved as presented.
Okay.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the May meeting. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay. Item number 2. Public hearing requesting review and approval for a special use permit to operate a mechanic shop located at 2806 South Cleveland, submitted by Irmar Paramo. Am I saying that right? Paramo?
I believe it's Paramo.
Okay. I'll take your word for that. And while you got the mic, why don't you give us a staff report on it?
Okay. The address is 2806 South Cleveland Avenue. It's roughly a third of an acre in size. It's fronting along the west side of Cleveland Avenue, just north of Bernice. The adopted land use actually is quasi-industrial, which is pretty on point for the area, even though it's a commercial zone, unquote. It is quasi-industrial in nature. The applicant is asking for a special use permit to operate an automotive repair. That's the actual use in the use chart for the zoning regulations. It says mechanic shop in the agenda, but it's for automotive repair. So you have the existing conditions in your report. There's a 5,200 square foot, give or take, repair garage, and according to the assessor, it's been that way for at least 18 years. So we're talking the late 80s. And basically it's been there a while, and it likely predates our existing zoning. It's just today, in order to continue an operation or to do one like it, you have to come back before the Board of Zoning Adjustments and get a special use permit. The surrounding properties have the following zoning and land uses: to the north and to the east and to the south and west. It's all C2 with a combination of light industrial improved to commercial and improved. To the immediate south, it is a fenced lot, so it's not quite vacant. I think it's associated with the natural gas storage use and business over in that part. Your report does essentially say that the automotive repair use is in keeping with the surrounding zoning and the land uses, and essentially this is a continuation of a use that's probably been there for at least almost 2 decades. Staff will require site plans to account for stormwater compliance as well as compliance with current building, fire, and parking codes. And that's the extent of your report details.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Kevin before he steps down? All right. This is a public hearing. Is there anybody else that has any comment, or you want to step up to the mic and tell us how you feel about this? Anybody? Okay. All right. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we do, yeah, it's Lou. We have a motion and a second to approve the special use permit. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. Okay, looks like item number 3, I'm going to get approval here to pull that. But I'll need a motion, we'll need approval here to do that. If we're gonna pull an item from the agenda, we need to vote it, we need to approve it. So I'll entertain a motion in a second to pull this item from this agenda at this time. Anybody?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to pull item number 3 from the June 24th agenda. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. just so everybody knows, that was a request, it was requesting a waiver for a metal facade that we're gonna get some more information on next month, hopefully. So, anyway. Moving on to item 4. Request a waiver from a commercial building design allowing for use for metal facade. This is also an item that we're gonna be pulling from tonight's agenda. It rolls right along with, it is the same. I mean, it's the same, same request, just different property. But anyway, we'll need a motion and a second to approve that as well.
So moved.
All right.
And so second.
All right, we got a motion and a second to approve pulling those from the agenda.
Okay.
All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, the motion carries. We're going through it pretty quick tonight here, guys. I mean, all right, item number 5. See if you can slow us down a little bit, Kevin, on this. A request to close the south 40 feet of East F Street adjacent to and north of lots 1 through 4, block 85, jail Shin Addition in Russellville, submitted by Dave Garza and Associates, pardon me, on behalf of Richard Rogers. You want to?
Well, very good. The report you have before you, it entails 2 separate parcel IDs. The current uses right now are vacant and they are zoned R2. Your land use plan adopts them as residential. The proposed uses are right-of-way vacation to enable future medium-density residential construction or duplex. Essentially, they want to vacate the remaining portion of a public right-of-way, street/alley, that prior ordinance has created by default, i.e. a residue right-of-way. The site is improved and is situated at the southwest corner of Greenwich Street and East F Street. The applicant is wanting the city to vacate the south 40 feet of approximately 200 lineal feet of existing/platted public right-of-way for the purposes of replatting the adjacent lots for future residential construction. And you can see that the subject property is highlighted in a sort of a light green bluish color, and then you have the cross-hatched symbolization which details that right-of-way vacation. The only comments in your report are essentially the request does not diminish the planned or current street connectivity and is not in conflict with either the zoning code or the comprehensive future land use plan.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions regarding this? Any public comment at all? Step up to the microphone if you would and state your name for the record, please.
Good evening. I'm Benny Qualls. My mother and father own this property. My father's passed away, and it's just been sitting there for a while, and it's going to be inherited to us once my mother passes. And so it's me and 4 other siblings, and down the road we plan on developing it ourselves, and if we get blocked off, it'll be landlocked. So therefore, we don't need it blocked off, not have no access into it. So we need it left like it is.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Qualls at all?
Pardon? I believe it's 7, 8, and 9.
Okay.
All right. From what I could tell, when I went by and checked this property too, and that it does look like the city basically painted themselves into a corner. I mean, just on both sides. I mean, it's been developed on both sides, so I don't see any reason not to unless somebody else can see something that I don't. I mean, looks pretty open and shut.
And if I understand right, the reasoning for the closure is just to create more access as far as being limited on how far you can build from the street. Well, so you're in the process of purchasing this, someone is, I guess? Well, all right. Well, I think it's won't be no good for us, and we have quite a bit more there than you do, so what would normally go on in a situation like this?
That's a good question. We don't see this every day, so, I mean, this is something,
Unique.
this is unique. Good wording.
So is closing the south 40 feet eliminate the excess to the back?
It's a
Because on the map,
cul-de-sac, I believe.
on the map, that's not what, or that's not the way it was presented to us. There's still an easement on the top part of it, the way I understand.
The west side of it has got a cul-de-sac, and then on the east side, there's a gravel driveway, and you can see where the alley was, but it's,
So there's no street there now? It's just dedicated to be a street?
There's a 20-foot alley on the south side of the subject property, independent of the right-of-way closure, so the properties to the south still have legal access, if that's your concern.
Yeah, but it has, it's still enough access to put a by code street back there to it if it were to be developed? Or is there enough room to do that?
Yes, there is. There's enough right-of-way.
20 foot.
You'd have to have a minimum 20-foot cartway unless.
So your concern is that that you were cutting off the access to the back of it, or to your property by closing the south 40 feet of this.
I believe that's correct.
But is that the case, or you still have an easement to get back to it?
The total existing right of way is 8 feet wide. The request was to close the south 40 feet, and the reason was to maintain 40 feet for access to any property back there. There's also a cul-de-sac, that would be North Frankfurt, that would be used to access the property. So it's really got three ways to access that property, even with this closure. It would be North Frankfurt, the, East F Street remaining right of way, as well as the alley.
that, having that drainage ditch on that the west end of it, I guess, is that gonna affect this request in any way, Morgan, in your opinion?
Well,
It shouldn't have anything to do with it, really. I mean, should it? I mean, you're not gonna have, it's not gonna block anything, is what I'm asking you.
the right of way is going to help.
Okay.
The existing property that's there is kind of a pipe stem type lot. The pipe stem is marginally useful for the driveway. This will allow, this closure will allow this property to be developed a little better, for infill development, which this part, actually, a lot of Russellville has benefited from infill type development. We've served developers in town that bought lots, and the cost of dilapidated structures up there that kind of do infill development instead of being man-made. This will allow this property, to be developed residential and do some infill development on that whole piece of parkway.
But your concern is just to make sure you have an easement to the back part of it?
I believe the main access is what he's wanting to cut down right now.
So your concern is you'd rather have the 80 feet instead of 40 feet?
If this right here, existing right here is 80 foot right now, and he's gonna cut it down to 40, that'll still leave access in and out of the property, is that correct? 40 foot work, and that's plenty of room to get, drive in and out.
He's in here. I can't find the streets over
All
here.
right. Well,
Right here. That's a.
let's see what they think.
I mean, no, as
Take it
a
out
commission, it's not our intent ever to
bring
cut off,
Yes, sir.
easement that. So I recognize your concern on it, so I want to make sure you're satisfied.
I'm here to gain knowledge and understanding to figure out what's going on rather than being blocked off, so I'm able to learn that there's still access to that. And like I said, it's not just myself, I have other ones to make the decision, so,
We couldn't legally do that anyway. I mean, that's something, we voted on that. I mean, we can't vote to have something, we can't block you out of your own property. I mean, so.
Do you have access on that'd be the north side of your property too, where the above 7, 8, and 9, is that an alley above? Is that legal access to your property as well?
The property belongs to my mother. My father's passed, and I've been out there quite a few times. I usually go out there a couple times a year to pick up stuff and just, but as far as everything on there, it's not nothing to do with us per se right now until down the road, and when it does come to that point, I was gonna get in a little bit deeper on accesses and property boundaries. So, anyway, I'm kinda learning as I stand up here.
You don't want to learn by hard knocks here, though, I can say.
Well, I'd rather, be here instead of, regret it later.
Nothing wrong being proactive at all. No. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Qualls? Any comments, any questions to anybody? This is a public hearing. You guys have anything y'all wanted to add at all? You good? I'm sorry? A visual? That's a very good question. I've never had that one. That's good. And because I know you is the reason you're asking me that right here. On record, aren't you? Okay. Yeah. We'll have to, there wouldn't be any problem with that, I wouldn't think. Okay.
I'm gonna get with Mr. Garza, I believe.
Yeah.
I'll contact with him and someone from East out there and kinda explain to us. That'll be fine with us.
Okay. All right.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Well,
He wants to be able to see what his boundaries are.
and I understand that.
When you do a survey, when you do something like that, I mentioned they would do that. But
Yeah, and I'm surprised that they haven't. They haven't did a survey.
marking those boundaries like that, now that's a very good question. That's one we don't get here a lot, but, I mean, is that, Morgan, on marking boundaries like this, I mean, is that something that we would normally do anytime you go in, you're involved in any type of, I mean, is this something that Dave would do on, if he's going in and helping somebody with a situation like this, they would go in to kind of give them a visual of where things are at? Is that normal procedure? Is that something you could do upon request or what?
I don't know of any instance we've done that before.
Okay, well,
It won't be a problem to do it on this.
would that be more of a surveying question, I guess, or is that okay,
Won't be a problem to do it. And it would be marked when we do the replat.
right,
If this would go through and got approved, we would definitely mark it at that point.
right, okay. All right,
And when will the public hearing will be like the city council level?
okay. We'll still need to,
So it'll be advertised in the newspaper.
okay, we just need to table this or table the decision on it from our part here then? Okay,
I think, I'd make a motion to approve as presented contingent upon the confirmation of a 40-foot easement to connect to the lots in the back. And that should give us enough width to complete a street in there per the city regulations.
And you can make that a condition of issuance of building permit, that you have verified that 40-foot is where they say it is.
Is that,
that's Luke's batting for you. Mr. Duffield's is, he's,
so to
I agree with that.
move to approve
Mhm.
as presented contingent upon the confirmation of a 40-foot easement that will allow a street potentially to be built in the future that would give you access.
instead of making you wait to the city council meeting too, let's put this, let's get this thing rolling right now, so. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Whoa, let's don't fight over it now, okay. All right, all those in favor of approval, acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Got it. Okay. All right, item number 6, we'll need to be tabling the request to close a portion of South El Paso Avenue, and, but I'll need a motion and a second to do that. We'll need approval to do that. Do I hear a motion? We've got some more information that's going to be coming to us next month, so it's tabled for a month. So,
I make a motion that we table item number 6
Okay.
until our next meeting.
okay, I hear a motion.
I'll second.
Second. We've got a motion and a second to table item number 6, the South El Paso street closing request. Item number 6 on our agenda. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, item number 7. A request to nominate an at-large member by the Planning Commission to serve on the Board of Adjustment to fill vacancy of Justin Cawthorn. The nomination will need confirmation by the City Council. Do we have anybody that we want to serve on the Board of Adjustment that you guys, do I hear a nomination? I have somebody myself that I'd like to nominate. I've talked to him today about it, and John Choate. I don't know if anybody's familiar with John. He's an employee out at Tri-County Water, good man, and I think he would be a good addition to the Board of Adjustment. So anyway, we're going through the nomination process here. Of course, his confirmation will be pending the City Council meeting, but I would like to throw his name out there. Being chairman, I can't throw the motion or second out there, but if you guys can do that, then we'll get his name on there if you want.
I make a motion to nominate John Choate
Thank you very
for
much.
Board of Adjustment.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and a second?
Shirley.
Yeah, Shirley. Motion and a second to nominate John Choate to the position of at-large member of Board of Adjustments. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. Any other items that I don't know about, let me know now, or we're adjourned. Speak now or
You didn't give him long to speak, 'cause you could.
Luke? Good shooting. Huh? Good shooting. I like that.